Welcome to Content Callout episode 7. Today's topic is Nerdrotic, and I'm gonna let you know from the beginning. I tried really hard. I've watched a few videos. The first time I was just so annoyed with the childish humor that I wasn't able to actually write anything down, but I forced myself to on one video. I made it a decent ways into it, but I found enough evidence. I just truly cannot watch this guy. It was the cringiest I've seen so far in this series. So the video name is Echo is Awful. Marvel Goes Off the Reservation. And right there from the title, you can just tell this guy is using teenage-like humor. Like, I get it, you don't like the show, but you intentionally use reservation because there's Indians in it, and you're not even trying to not be, like, I don't want to say insulting, but I will say intentionally close to the line to gain that response. It's very intentional. He does start the video with a lot of footage that shows people involved with the project, political positions, and other related statements like that have nothing to do with the quality of it. There was one girl that says, I don't really have any acting experience, which that wasn't a good decision for one. But D'Onofrio kind of avoiding all that. It's like, you don't know if he actually was against the plot, if he hasn't specifically said this. And I haven't seen a video of yours that said that, and if you did, not really claiming that. What I am claiming is you're using it in a misleading way to specifically show that, but don't show the paired footage that shows he actually feels that way. So it was very misleading, but not a bad editing job. But again, all of that had nothing to do with backing your point. The first statement's timestamp was at 1:17 to 1:22. It seems that the criticism coming from all of humanity concerning the MCU was falling on deaf ears. So things I hear wrong with this is pretty simple. Nobody that makes that claim about these shows ever seems to provide evidence. They may go, oh, well, look, they put someone more representation in there. It's like, geez, none of y'all cared about Echo until all of a sudden, this stuff. But if you don't like it, don't watch it. But, you're a critic, so you're having to. But why is it all the stuff that makes you come off as, like, not an okay person is the only stuff y'all criticize? Y'all can't actually sit there and point out that there was character development in that. And, maybe I agree, it's like She-Hulk, it's not the best choice of character to be making a TV show about, but if you want to claim that it just sucked overall, what are you watching? Because it's not these shows. And you claim this all the while the MCU is still making money. You can call everything a flop, but they're making money on all of it. Nothing has been Madam Web level, no refunds, none of that. And at the same time, you don't cover a single successful project that I could find. And you do say some stuff about them, how they're going to be woke and they're going to do this, but you never actually come out and admit you're wrong. So that seems pretty common with anti-fans. Eventually, I'm going to come out with an exact profile of what it actually is in details with examples from different channels like you. Second statement starts at 1:52. But after Kevin Feige realized he war painted himself into an identity politics corner, he smoked a peace pipe, trimmed it from 8 episodes to 5 episodes, and dropped it all at once. Again, with the specific things, why peace pipe? Why, war painted? Why specifically these terms? If you're not trying to be insulting, it doesn't actually just fit. You could just be like, look, he painted himself into a corner. Yeah, that's a common phrase. And as someone who's painted a lot in my life, that's pretty hard to do. So also specifically calling it war painting, actually, that doesn't make any sense because that's supposed to be on your face. So how would it actually make sense to war paint yourself into a corner? See, you're using specific terms to be, in a way, I guess triggering would be the more common known nomenclature about it. But seriously, this is like high school or middle school humor. And man, if you subscribe to this guy, I feel bad for you that this is entertaining. I really do. And like, what identity politics? A character that no one cared about being made Indian if she wasn't originally into comics, and you want to call it identity politics? Why? Because there's another culture in there that's not American? Like, do you actually have a reason? No, throughout the rest of the video, you don't actually give a reason for it, except that they included it. Which, I don't care if you thought it was cringe or stupid. What's wrong? I mean, there was no agenda forced. So what are you talking about? They weren't pushing anything. And it's like, oh, she's a girl. But yeah, she was raised by Kingpin. Of course, she's trying to take over. Of course, she said they need a queen now. It's like, duh, Kingpin, Queen Pin. Yeah, you're just pulling at straws at this point. It's pathetic. And obviously you don't know what woke means, or you wouldn't be using it in this context, because woke does not mean includes. It means that there's a forced agenda. They're trying to force you to understand their opinion. You know, that's why it's that you can just call, like, I'm woke. I understand this stuff. It's like almost saying enlightened about something more political or social. And no one's forcing an agenda in any of these MCU projects. None of it. Like, the projects I think suck have nothing to do with an agenda. At all. So, what agenda? If any one of you anti-fans can bring up one example, bring it here. I will make a video specifically on that. I will meet up with you and I will debate the concept of the MCU or not. I guarantee you, I will tear you apart. You will lose subscribers because y'all can't back it. And you're convincing people that this is true when it's just blatantly false. And all you have to do is actually understand what woke means and not listen to some fake fan like you as an influencer influencing people to keep watching your crap, because that's all it is. The third statement starts at timestamp 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Based on a Z-list villain from the Daredevil comics that the showrunners felt so passionately about, they completely changed the character. Well, first off, isn't it, like, kind of boring if there's multiple characters on the screen when you can only have limited amounts with the same power? So why would we want a knockoff Taskmaster? Like, why? Like, same thing with Ms. Marvel. Why do we want a non-genius, knockoff female version of Mr. Fantastic? Of course let's change her powers up. Of course let's change her and Echo's powers up. We don't need multiple of the same thing. I mean, we didn't kill Taskmaster. The female version the MCU made is going to be in the Thunderbolt. So we're getting him again. So why have the same power set? Anytime that's a thing or they're thinking of doing it, y'all are the first to complain. But also the first to complain when they do the things y'all recommend. Why don't your fans see the bullshit? Also, it's a Z-list character, as you put it. So why do you care? We bring in characters to give representation that no one knows, and they're actually originally that color or that gender or that representation angle we're trying to put in, and no one knows. But then you're mad because no one knows them. But didn't you say use the characters that no one knows? Take advantage of the multiverse, but then, oh, you had a video talking about how there's a female Silver Surfer. No, shut your mouth. That's not a female Silver Surfer. That's Shala Ball. They've both existed in the 616 in the comics at the same time with the same powers. Y'all cannot honestly be this bad. It's like y'all's research is like Swiss cheese. There's just too big of holes for this to actually be real. Basically, you're mad no matter what, as long as you can shit talk Disney and anything they're doing, but you never talk about their successes. It's like you're doing it on purpose. And sadly, the rest of the video is just childish cringe humor and insults. It never brings up any actual evidence. Hardest to watch out of all of these so far. So out of 6 other ones, each one of these has just, it's been the hardest to watch. Completely disingenuous. Honestly, it feels like he watched someone else shit talk. Echo and then looked at those positions. He didn't actually have his own. Another one was he claims it's bad for representation, but at the same time brings no evidence to how it affected the story. Like, if your point is that just focus on story, well, how'd they mess the story up? It fit in there, just maybe not have been the best story that they could have done, but not every comic was a fucking award winner, so make up your mind. Makes sense, dude. The complaint about Kingpin losing to Echo, like, I don't know what everyone thinks about Kingpin. They want him to be, like, super strong and beating people with superpowers, but when Netflix makes him weak enough to hurt his hand on a stone pillar, they glorify it. Like, makes sense. Like, honestly, seriously, more than anyone else besides Penny Sound, you're up there with her now. Neither one of you are worth a sub. Y'all are so disingenuous. Y'all are misleading with y'all's editing and what coverage y'all find. Y'all clip out the most important parts of interviews. It's horrendous. So you're not worth subscribing, and you're damn sure not even worth trying to force myself to watch through that humor. If you really still are subscribing to this guy because you appreciate that humor, then don't come here. I won't appreciate you as fans at all. But if you want someone who's going to actually quote straight out of the Marvel Encyclopedia, who will be honest about what they see on screen, go ahead and subscribe. But, either way, till next time, and I'll catch you later.